Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we've got something a little bit unique. We're going to be opening this little box of cards. We purchased it off of Wish. So as we all know about Wish, anything you purchase there is increasingly likely to be fake. So right off the bat, we have a nice looking box. It's supposed to have 40 cards in it. Who knows if we'll actually get that many. It's called the Legacy of the Duelist box. As I remember, Legacy of the Duelist was actually a video game that was released probably 6-7 years ago at least. Box art's pretty nice though. It's got all of our main characters from across the series. Only know who two of them are, one being Yugi, Yugi, and Jaden over here from GX. I know this guy here is from the 5Ds where they had the motorcycle, Tron cycle things to duel in. So a little bit out of touch. Don't know who these two guys here are, but in the end, they've all got the same pointy hairstyle, so they're definitely the protagonist of the show. So box art on the front looks pretty neat. Definitely an opportunity here to have marketed this if it was not a real product. Again, it's from Wish, so we're assuming going to be fake. We also don't know what the contents are in this box are, so maybe who knows what we'll pull out of it. Maybe we'll pull a bunch of God cards, a bunch of blue eyes, every piece of Exodia for all we know, but it could be anything. Back of the box, again, all the characters this time in an action pose. Again, pretty good box art overall. A missed opportunity. Yeah, I don't think you can tell as much, but it does look a bit faded, kind of like when you put those cheap little cartoon tattoos on your arm. All these characters kind of look like just a cheap tattoo. But if it was done in high quality, I could see this being a good product. A little nifty thing. I don't know what the contents are, but they could market it with a set for each of these guys. Give them each 20, 30 cards. But let's open it up, take a look, see what we got, and see just how lucky the draws are from this set. Question is, how do we open this without damaging the box too much? All right, first challenge is getting the box open on any given day, I assume. All right, there we go. We found a side that opened up nicely. So how many rares are we going to pull out of this? Plus how many incredibly overpowered cards are we going to look at? So we'll open it up from the back side here. And right off the bat, one thing you can kind of notice is these cards have very sharp points in the edges. The set that I have, all the real cards I have, are not as sharp in the end. The cards are pretty thick feeling. They don't feel thin or wispy, so that bodes well. From the back, I don't see anything too out of the ordinary that would lend us to believe this was a fake right off the bat. We can probably nitpick a bunch. Let's take a look at that Konami logo up there if we can get a focus on it. Got the little trademark symbol. It's spelled correctly. Spelled everything correctly down here in the bottom as well. So 2 of our giveaways are already not in play. Card art's a little bit different. And we're going to turn it over, and we have a ultra or secret rare of some sort at this point. Looks like we have a little bit of holographic across the card overall. The print is a little bit unique on this. Again, we don't have any items that would indicate at a first quick glance that this would be fake, but after about 3-4 seconds of looking, then you start picking apart different things. This artwork up here looks to be very kind of faded. It's offset. The trap name is almost outside of the circle completely. We'll rotate our light here just a little bit to help out. First edition, again, well, first edition cards always have as their seal down here at the end, they always have a gold seal, not a silver seal. And then you'll notice that normally at the bottom of most cards, we have the copyright down here at the bottom, which happens to be missing at this time. Again, nothing from the back side looked too much, but the holographic art on the trap card only, just on the symbol there. We don't have any other places that appear to be holographic besides the artwork. So most of our rares have, if they have words that are highlighted or holographic, generally there's other places on the card that should be as well. But first edition, silver one, silver little licensing sticker down there at the bottom, giveaway that this is going to be a fake card right off the bat. They did get the Millennium Eye and the Yugi-Oh part of it correct, but again, probably going to be fake. Well, without a doubt fake. We already know that. But we're going to call that an ultra rare, or what was probably intended to be an ultra rare. Let's see what else we get on card 2. We've got an Azure Eyes Silver Dragon here. Again, another ultra rare card. Things that are missing up here, we have no indication of a type of monster, not wind, light. All the blue eyes monsters, I think, are light officially. So again, definitely a fake card. I actually think I have a real copy of this somewhere close at hand if you guys want to give me a second. Going through my sets here to see if I have a real copy, and I do. So there on the table, you can see that we have the rare fake Azure Eyes Silver Dragon, and right here we have in my right hand the real copy. Again, you see light up there and the type of the monster up here in the right corner. This one's not first edition, but again, copyright down there at the bottom. They did actually get the card number 4090837. They matched those up, so that was a good call there. Then obviously the card numbers are different, but I mean, we can't rule out that this would have come up in 2 different sets. You'll see the card description on the fake card on the left is ever different. It's 1+1+ non-tuner normal monsters there. On the real card, it's 1+1 or more non-tuner monsters. So kind of minor differences there, technicalities. If you look at the description as well, much bolder typeface on this card in the end. And then the entire effect is completely different. With the terms of how they've spelled it. They've abbreviated graveyard here, GY. Special summon it. This is special summon that target. Just very big differences in the end. If I didn't have this card here, and I didn't know that this was missing the copyright information at the bottom, you could pass this off against anybody. First glance, again, some minor technicalities here and there, but without a doubt can be passed off as a fake or as a real card. All right, let's see. Hopefully we keep pulling ones I can point back to the fakes of. All right, a Dark Magician Girl. Again, we're going to notice that this commonality up here, not having monster type, being dark up there. Gains 300 attack for every Dark Magician or Magician of Black Chaos in the GY. Most of the cards do not ever put GY for Graveyard. And then again, first edition, all these cards are first edition, but their sticker down here at the bottom is silver and not gold embossed. I do have a Dark Magician Girl somewhere. Hopefully we can find it quickly. We don't want to spend too much looking for these cards among our real ones, because we now know without a doubt these are fake. And in the end, I think if you had a child or, you know, a grandparent or somebody who was looking to pick these up for a grandchild, as long as they weren't passing them off as real or trying to play like tournament play with them, which, I mean, most people don't ever get in the tournament play, sorry. I can understand someone buying these. I mean, you pay $3-4 and you get something that looks as good as the real to anybody else who hasn't looked through it. And if I was 5 years old when I started playing, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh overall, I wouldn't have cared. I wouldn't even known to look for half of this stuff. But with age comes wisdom. Allegedly. Don't quote me on that, guys. All right, here's our real Dark Magician Girl. Again, you can see the color of the card on this is actually going to be a big difference. The real effect cards have a little bit more of a, I don't know, burnt, or they're faded out orange brown, as opposed to these ones are just so bright overall. Artwork as well on the normal Dark Magician Girl is much bigger, kind of more front and center. The typeface on the lettering also much bigger. They did abbreviate graveyard on this one correctly, so that is fair enough, but you'll see a lot of things kind of just different. And again, we know silver, no dark, first edition, 3 items to look at, and then we have set name here, LEDD, and it's actually LED6. So in the end, this could be fake as well too, but this one is much more passable as real as opposed to this one. But again, you know, we're looking for this just for enjoyment and fun, just to do a comparison of what we're going to see. All right, up next again, we've pulled another Dark Magician Girl, this time the alternate artwork. Same effect, they've got that correct. Somehow magically this one and this one with alternate artwork both have the same set number, LEDDEN002, and also the exact same card ID number as well. And then we have everything correct, the same down there. Again, no dark. Everything's identical. On the background of the card, they swapped out the artwork. So good on them for at least swapping it, but they could have done a little bit better on terms of faking this. Let's see, we pulled 4 full shiny, ultra rare cards, or whatever we want to call them. In the fake world, maybe we'll just call them fake ultra rares. But as we see, we're just pulling nonstop fakes. So I'm expecting a God card, Dark Magician, something along the lines. We've pulled a human character. Which I guess Yuma Tsukumo is one of our mysterious characters from the front of the box here that I did not know. His hair is also going a different direction, but again, not even sure this counts. This is a divine beast. I think if someone played this against you and, you know, one of your friends pulled this on you, you would definitely recognize this as a load of fake crap at this point. The rest of them you could fake and pass off, but this, I mean, if you play it's a human. We don't have any human monsters in the end, so that's really funny. I'm gonna wait to get my Yugi card. My Yugi card's gonna be overpowered. Pot of Desires. Again, I think I have one of these somewhere. Not gonna pull it out already. We know very likely, well, 100% fake for a number of reasons, but the artwork also kind of just seems more and more, especially on these spell cards and the trap cards, you can kind of see the lines in the printing. It's maybe not as good on camera, but you have that little bit of that fuzzy effect from a like lower quality printer. Beals of the Diabolic Dragons. Again, powerful synchro monster here. It'd be interesting how many of these monsters are actually real. This card, they actually did a decent job on faking. Again, I'm always going to turn back to this as being the dead giveaway silver licensing logo at the end and the no copyright information. But on first look, you know, some of the big things we've been taking at is it says dark. So that's a good win there in terms of how well they've done this quality wise. And then we don't have the same typo that we had in Blue Eyes or Azure Eyes Silver Dragon, where we had one tuner plus one or more non-tuner, just a weird grammatical error. I haven't seen any spelling mistakes either, which is also rare. So whoever's making these is doing a pretty good job. This card, I think, easily could have been passed off as real. And so I guess the biggest takeaway that I kind of want everyone to know in these videos, these are going to come out, especially with these powerful monsters. People are going to be, trying to sell these to you on the, eBay and whatnot. Always just be on the lookout. Copyright information is big, license and logo, and then minor things. This up here tends to be missed a lot. Don't know why that'd be the first thing it is, but always take a look at your cards, especially if you buy a rare. If you buy it off of a site that's not reputable. TCG Player, never had an issue there, so definitely worth taking a look there overall. I'm going to get one of these cards and just show the difference between the backs. This card that I'm bringing in, this is a Field Barrier spell card. It's a real card. You'll see the corners of these two are just different. Though the fake cards all have these very sharp corners. They're all pointed and just much more sharp, whereas the normal cards have a very curved edge to them overall. So nothing big on that. Backs of the cards look pretty similar if you get away from that point, but let's see if we can bring in the bottom here. You'll see that Yugi-Oh trademark overall as well, just ever so hinted in the real card. In the fake one, you do not have the trademark logo, and our Yugi-Oh, the O part, is ever so slightly off center from where it normally lays. Here you'll see how it kind of flows with that red background, kind of flows around it. Here, it's almost pushing out of the red background. And this is Cyber Eltanin. And again, interesting. Looks like what's that? Digimon Metal Garurumon, the wolf one. It's one of the first Mega monsters you ever meet when they're fighting that giant Myotismon. So that's a throwback to you. This channel, you got to be up to date on all your ancient Japanese anime morning cartoons. Pokemon, Digimon, Yu-Gi-Oh! You got to flashback. Remember when you were a young kid. Up next, we've got Yusei Fudo. So Yusei Fudo is, I'm guessing, another one of our human guys here. He's our far left guy from Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds that I did not know his name. So now I know his name is Yusei to go along with Yuma. And Jaden, I'm guessing, is going to be the only one who doesn't have a Y name. We'll see what that last guy is. But again, no one's going to fall for the human monster. We got Cyber's Magician. Again, this card gets some things right. We get this top part up here right. We have everything in this pack is ultra rare-ish, as we would call it. You don't get everything you normally would, but we can't really complain. We're just making fun of these at this point. Card artwork on this one is by far one of the worst that I've seen thus far in this lot. This is just so dark, and even with the holographic artwork, there's no real definition of the monster. So clearly fake in the end. And then we have Heavy Metal Foes Electromite. Much better artwork than the most previous card. This says that it is a link monster. Well, as we know, link monsters have our arrows around the corners and on the sides here, so we don't have anything of that nature. So again, clearly a fake, not a fire monster there. So let's move on to the next batch. We haven't pulled anything that's too overwhelming that we would expect. No god cards. The Time Magic Hammer. They did match it up correctly. Fusion and purple do go together. And we do have holographic all over the card on our level as well. Still not seeing anything with a clear typographical error in the descriptions. Kind of been reading through them here and there. Haven't seen anything stick out as too out of the ordinary, but we'll find one. I'm pretty sure of it. All right, Gym Knight Master Diamond. Again, we did get some good stuff right. Again, up here we do have Earth for once. We have Rock Effect, but we're missing Fusion. We've got a purple card, and it does say it has to be Fusion Summoned, so we know they intended for this to be a Fusion monster, but they, I guess they didn't think about that when faking it in the end. I always wonder if they're ever going to put Summoned with like 3 M's together, but nothing sticks out as fake, so, well, besides the card itself, but nothing unique to this card that makes it more fake other than that Fusion missing. And I'm going to be keeping all of these separate from my actual cards. We'll be doing a couple of these throughout the time. In the end, again, Yugi-Oh. So he's our 3rd human in this lot. He's a divine beast, which, you know, they needed to probably nerf him in the anime. He always managed to win in the end. Against, at least when it mattered. He did lose a couple times, I guess that's fair. Hard to keep him human. Dark Renewal, it's a trap card. Again, we have everything coming out of this LEDD set. We're seeing that a couple times. Nothing sticks out to me as being much different or much more fake than any of the rest. So we'll just continue to admire the artwork. We're going to come back when we pull, hopefully in the future, all these cards. We'll pull a bunch of them and we'll be able to say, yep, we know exactly why that was fake. We have Psychic Nightmare here. Speaking of Myotismon from Digimon, looks very similar to one of his incarnations. So, you know, after pulling through, you know, 15 or so of these cards at this point, it's very clear. You know, if you weren't 100% certain at this point, you've got a pack where every single card has the ultra rare, ultimate rare, holographic pattern on them. Again, no spelling errors though, so you know we're hoping in the end. The Fog King in the end, spellcaster effect, nothing too crazy. Still don't see any typographical errors. Clearly fake. So we'll start powering through some of these a little bit more, looking just for things that have odds and ends. Gaia the Fierce Knight did come in the Yugi starter deck, was not a rare card, also does not have this artwork in that deck. He's charging this direction from right to left in the original ones. Not sure if there's anything wrong with that. Maybe a few little errors here and there, but don't have one of the real ones to keep and compare it to. But I do remember his original artwork charges this way. And he's also not an ultra rare. The Red Eyes Fusion. Not sure that there is a Red Eyes fusion card. That's a very, would be a new thing to be specified, that you can only fuse with Red Eyes in the end. That's not what polymerization did in the end. I don't see anything otherwise sticking out. Again, if you know whether these cards are fake or not, what they're knockoffs of, if this exists, I'd love to see a copy of it. I've never heard of that. Also, I didn't know they started referring to the fusion cards as fusion instead of polymerization. But like I said, if you have real versions of these, I'd like to see them before I have to go find them all myself and try to get them all. We have a Topologic Bomber Dragon. Again, interesting name choice there. Not sure if that's unique or if that's weird. I want to know how many of these monsters are fake names in the end. We've got a blue card background. As we know, blue card indicates ritual, but we don't have any ritual-based items. Also, link monsters. We don't have link here at the bottom either. And just doing a quick scan, there are no typos in the name or in the description. One of them is going to have a typo, I promise, or at least I hope so. Storming Mirror Force, as opposed to normal Mirror Force. I believe Mirror Force cards are actually a quick action trap, so we're noticing we don't have any of the symbols on the trap cards that indicate what type of trap card they are: continuous, quick action, etc. But nothing different. Don't think Storming Mirror Force. I remember there is Mirror Force, but don't know why we would need a Storming Mirror Force that does basically the same thing as the regular Mirror Force. Dead Grenade Buster. Interesting name. I don't know if it's supposed to be D-Grenade Buster, but that's we'll call that one probably maybe a typo. We do have a issue here, being a nitpicking grammar item. If you read this second to last line here, we'll start back up. You'll start back up at 3 lines down. You can target one monster your opponent controls whose attack is higher than this card's. Semicolon. Banish it until the end of the phase. That's a splice of a sentence. You can't use a semicolon to transition between directions. That would just be a comma, and you would need something to also link that across, some sort of transition word there. Otherwise, you just have a comma splice as well. So our first real grammatic error that I've noticed, but kind of funny, a little bit in, but we'll call that our first, even though we probably missed a couple along the way. We have Odd Eyes Persona Dragon. They did get the pendulum correct on that. That is fair. I don't know if pendulum first edition monsters are listed down here or not. I've never actually come across a real pendulum monster thus far on my search. Just getting back into it. I am going to give them credit for spelling pendulum correctly, so we'll give them +1 on that. But nothing that sticks out as too crazy. Cycling through, Elemental Hero Grand Neos. Again, Warrior effect, no fusion listed as well. Purple card, this is a fusion of Elemental Hero Neos and Neospatian Grand Mole in the end. Don't know if you have to, it says you don't have to use polymerization. Very weird. There's another grammatical error there. If you see that, polymerization's in quotation marks with a period to the right. When you use quotation marks, punctuation goes to the left of the ending punctuation. So definitely an error, but I'm not sure everyone in the world knows that, and I'm not sure most people in the United States even know that, or English speakers. That's a common mistake and very nitpicky in the end, but that's the type of thing when you get a card in front of you and you're wondering, you got to look for things that are just out of this world crazy. Again, once per turn, : you can target one monster probably, again, and then the semicolon splice as well. Not a common way to handle any sort of grammatical error, but we don't have the original version, so maybe the Japanese version or the English print of the actual copy says the same thing. We have Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon again, and we just pulled this a second ago, and you'll see we have Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon, or Persona Dragon, and Pendulum Dragon, excuse me. So they are very similar in the end. They line up well. Nice cards. That was my mistake. I thought we pulled them both. Got Pendulum and Persona mixed up on that. Oh, we've pulled Exodia, right? The most overpowered card we can possibly get. Again, I don't know if they ever made one by itself that was an Exodia card. I know that you have to get the pieces, but this is something that basically says banishing cards. It's got a lot of text mumbo jumbo down here at the end, but again, overpowered for sure. And we were expecting to see something like this. So this is our first rare, super rare card in the normal game that we were thinking we might see something related to. So rather than have them pull all the various pieces, we've pulled just Exodia on the whole. So we're still holding out hope for a Blue Eyes, right? Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. This is a zombie tuner monster effect monster. I really like these oversized bullets here that really do a well job of covering up text in the end. But man, still no God cards, still no Blue Eyes, and still no Gods cards. So Odd Eyes Arc Pendulum Dragon. We're basically pulling every one of these. I don't even know if these are real series, but these Odd Eyes. If someone can count him and make sure he actually does have odd eyes, appreciate it on that. Oh, we've got Exodius, the Ultimate Forbidden Lord. He has the same effect as the prior Exodia card that we had pulled here as well. So if you want to take a comparison of those two, this one does have 0 defense, whereas Exodia has a undetermined or to be determined defense in the end. I'd really like to know how many of these cards are fake. Cyber Network, in the end, looks like it's something to get you a Cyber Dragon out there. You do have the continuous trap card logo right there, so that is one of the first times we've seen actually the additional items on the end. Wall of text, not going to look through that too intense to see if there's any typos. Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem as well. Machine Fusion Effect. It is purple. We've missed out on the typing of the monster there. And again, we have another wall of text. But I do not actually see any typos in this one. Again, we can point out all the comma splices, colon splices, and semicolon splices, but we're looking for clear typos such as opponent with 1P, things like that. Raijiki, famous card in the end. Pretty much, actually, as I remember it, this is the exact effect as well. It does destroy basically every card that's in play in the monster field, so I will give them credit for not making up some new effect. This is the Fang of Kritius. This card's also treated as Legendary Dragon Kritius. I don't know why we're treating it as something else. And then nothing that sticks out, but this is just a weird effect. I don't know if you want to take a look at that and make heads or tails of why we're treating this as Legendary Dragon Kritius, and it's a spell card in the end. So I'm supposed to pretend that it's a monster. I don't know what we're doing with that. Machina Fortress. Nothing sticks out. Again, that isn't already been pointed out. multiple times in the end. No typos that I see in the description there either. So overall, we'll call that one passable. Cyber Dragon's Way. We have, good artwork overall. I think that is something to give them credit on their counterfeiting of these cards. They have made them enough similar to pass them off. Again, they're not going to fool any long-term Yu-Gi-Oh players or anybody who's an adult who's familiar with the game whatsoever. But kids, like I said, I think probably buying from Wish. I think grandparents who are like told by the kid, hey, we want, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and like, what the heck's a Yu-Gi-Oh card? And they, try to find it wherever they possibly can, and they get linked to a bad place like that. Dragon Effect, blue card, Soravis, the Crowned Ancient Sage. Again, blue card, blue, we should have Ritual or Link on this card. We know it's not a Link monster, so we're going to check, and we have no Ritual in the name, but it does say you can Ritual summon it. So, they know it. Why not just manage to put it up a little bit? Just help yourselves out if you're going to fake these cards. Get some of these minor things right in the end. Overload Fusion. So we've got another fusion card in the end. Maybe this was a later change to the game where we started calling fusions different. This looks like it's designed to be for machine monsters in the end. So maybe we started making ones for different types of monsters specific to Red Eyes. I'm going to actually use this light here real quick and bring this into play. I know I've been inadvertently doing it, but when you bring this on there, you can see how shiny, and not like holographic shiny like this, but how shiny this card is. Like, it's got some sort of laminate, and all the cards have this in the end. And I've just now have thought to mention this. You just have a shiny laminate structure all around the card, whereas even the artwork is holographic, but the card just seems laminated. The Gaga Girl looks like a Dark Magician Girl knockoff in the end. I also don't know why an XYZ monster is used. You can just say a XYZ monster. X is not a vowel. You don't really assign an to anything. Semicolon splice as well, multiple times in there. So again, learn how to use your colons, learn how to use, the grammatical punctuation, colon, but semicolons, colons, commas, learn how they work, and at least you'll be able to fake Yu-Gi-Oh cards better than this. Cyber Phoenix. Just take a look real quick at that. Again, every single card in this pack has been ultra rare in quality. We've got Crystron Phoenixian. That's a monster name and a half for sure. I think we're still missing some of our humans. And there's our Dark Magician card. We did expect to pull this in the pack. Nothing too odd, actually. This is, as I remember, the main artwork from the Yugi deck. It's probably just as common of a print as the starter Yugi print was. So I don't remember too much about this being different. I don't remember if he was a level 7 monster or not. Maybe. I feel like Blue Eyes was 8 and Dark Magician was 7, but we can site check that one later on. The Eye of Timaeus spell card. This is treated as a monster again, or treated as legendary dragon Timaeus. Don't know what we're doing. If someone wants to explain how that works, I'd love to know. We're nearing down our bottom of the pile. We haven't drawn 2 of our 3 humans. We've got Dark Magician, alternate artwork. There is another one that I remember. There's a red Dark Magician. I know it was a plot point in the anime, but also I think that I had this, and I don't think this is what it looked like. I think that it was just kind of a Dark Magician kind of in a like disdain pose of sorts. So probably not the artwork. And if there may be one like this, we may have another new version in the end. I know we got 12,000 versions of Blue Eyes, so we only have 2 cards left. So if we don't pull a Blue Eyes, I'm going to be really mad because, you know, why else do we buy fake cards? Cyber End Dragon. We got a fusion monster. We did get the purple correct on that. We're packing 4,000 attacks. That's not bad in the end, if we could get to that point. But still not a Blue Eyes, right? So we're not happy with that pull. And our last card is Dark Magic Expanded. So this is going to be set for all of our Dark Magician based monsters or dark spellcasters. In the end, we did get this as a quick play spell card in the end. So hey, I give them credit. We didn't see many of those. But again, all of these cards ended up being holographic, ultra rare, looking in quality. And the big takeaways are just sharp edges on the cards. Everything was first edition with a silver logo down there. And many of the monsters were missing their typing on their logo there. So, you know, if I was a young kid or something, I would have never known that most of these were fake cards. And I can totally see, you know, if it's just a matter of getting cards and playing the game and having fun with your friends, there's nothing wrong with this, as long as nobody ever tried to pass them off. But you'd never be able to prevent people from doing that. So in the end, I think there were some good parts of this. I think they did some good jobs at attempting to counterfeit the cards. I do think that there's some room for improvement if they wanted to. You know, if you're trying to really knock people off, you get some things right. You put some cards in there that aren't ultra rare or ultimate rares. So I appreciate you guys sticking with me on this one and taking a look. And as always, you know, check your cards when you buy individual cards from people online. You never know what you're going to get, and you want to make sure that you are paying, especially if you're throwing down 20, 30 bucks for some ultra rare card, that you get what you were expecting. But we'll come back and look at some more cards from Wish in the future. We've got a couple videos coming up where we're going to compare the Wish set with the actual booster set. So appreciate you guys sticking around, and we'll see you next time.